Hi, it's Jo Martin here, the founder of One of Many, and I've got a question for you. Do you believe in personality types? Are you all over the Myers-Briggs, Enneagram, DISC kind of thing, or are you more, wow, that's sort of a little bit too much Moon in Aquarius, Capricorn rising for me? I'm interested because sometimes personality profiles feel like they can free us to understand ourselves more deeply, and sometimes, frankly, we don't like them because they put us in a box. Would that be fair to say? And I think actually a lot of personality profiles, those that focus on your personality and diagnose your personality, do have us end up feeling like we're in a box, that we have only one way of being. But quite frankly, I don't know about you, but sometimes I do things which are totally not what my personality would do, do you know? Apparently, according to Myers-Briggs, I'm an introvert, yet my favorite place to be is on stage in front of 3,000 people. Go figure. Maybe your personality profile tells you you're shy and you don't like to speak up, but then at one meeting, sure, you were shy and you didn't speak up. Yet at the very next meeting with the same group of people, you really absolutely made your point heard. How can we be that different? When personality profiles pigeonhole us, they're not really that helpful. But here at One of Many, we have a look at profiling a woman's archetypes. And archetypes are those things that are, they're kind of a set of values, beliefs, behaviors. Plato called them forms. From a Jungian perspective, they're collectively inherited unconscious ideas. In other words, this is patterns of behavior, if you like, that each of us demonstrate. And I like to think about them more like, I don't know, a graphic equalizer. You remember in the 80s we had on those music, you know, you could turn a bit up on the treble and turn the bass up and the mid-range, and you could organize. I don't know if probably it's still there in the sound industry. I don't know. But you could adjust the sound on your speaker system. It's the same way when we have a look at a woman's access to the 5 women's power types. And there are 5 specific ones that we work with here at One of Many. Why? Because we believe that when a woman has ready access to these 5 women's power types, she has access to the tools and the behaviors to be able to handle most every situation that a mature woman could face herself with. That's why we don't look at it as a personality test, because this is less about putting you in a box, more in understanding your current behavioral strengths and recognizing areas of either opportunity for growth or for team building. Because you don't have to always grow and become better at those things you're weak at. You can actually just build team around you to support you in that. That's your choice. So what are the 5 women's power types? Well, we've got beautiful cards to illustrate each of them. The first one I introduce you to is the Warrioress. Warrioress is energetic and youthful. You know, like the Warrioress is characterized by her commitment for fighting for justice. Like the mythical Amazonian woman, she's courageous, independent, quick to act. She looks after her own, and other people admire her raw energy. She's very hard to keep up with, though, I have to say. The next one I want to introduce you to is the Mother power type. Now, sometimes people look at this card and go, oh my God, you have to be a biological mother to have access to this. You don't. In fact, some of the most unconditionally loving and caring women that I've met, especially in the corporate environment, have a really strong mother power type, even if they don't have their own children. She's that place of safety, of solace, of warmth that we all go to, always looking to bring out the best in others through encouragement, coaching, and support. She will sometimes even sacrifice for those she perceives to be her family. That's one of the problems. Sometimes some women have their work as their family, and they sacrifice for work way too often, martyring themselves because they're doing too much mother. Something to think about. The next one I want to introduce you to is the Lover power type. So yes, while she's characterized by her sensuality, her appreciation of beauty and all things feeling, and yes, her sexuality, she's also the center of our life force. She's the center of our self-care. When I bring her out in corporate and talk about her, a lot of women will say, oh, she doesn't, you know, I don't think she's relevant here. And that's the problem, because actually low lover power type we see in our profiling tool is always associated with either burnout or being on the brink of burnout. When we don't have lover, we just don't take care of our needs. She's very important in the corporate setting. And I'm not talking about in a flirt your way to the top kind of way. The next one is Queen. Now, Queen is probably the most comfortable in leadership. She's very certain of her place in the world, regal, visionary, commanding. She's very happy to look after her own needs, and she has strong boundaries. Other people become fiercely committed to her vision and will often lay down their lives in service of her ideals. She's a really powerful power type, but one thing to watch out with her, if you lead only from Queen, your team will burn out trying to sacrifice for the Queen's vision, just as knights would have laid down their lives for their queen in times of old. So that's Queen. And then the final power type I wanted to chat to you about is the Sorceress. Now, don't get me wrong here. We're not talking about, witchy cauldron brewing sorceress here. Although if that's your thing, no judgment from me. What we are talking about is the part of you that is connected to Source. Whatever you call Source. You might call it God or Goddess or Sarasvati or Buddha. You might call it Christ or Mother Nature or the oak tree in the wood. Quantum physics, the universe, whatever it is that thing that you feel is bigger and more awesome than you, Sorceress is the part of you that connects to that. She's also the master of her chosen technologies and leads through faith and wisdom. Now, each of these power types has their own unique leadership style. They each have their own strengths. They each have their own weaknesses. Each of them is able to be utilized for particular behavioral responses from the people around us. For instance, if you want people to be more courageous and independent, you bring Mother. If you want people to have more faith, you bring Sorceress, right? Getting a working knowledge of these power types is perhaps one of the most profoundly empowering thing that the women in our community speak about when they're talking about what they love most about our tools. So highly recommend finding out more about them. Just from this brief introduction, how's it landing with you? Would you be interested in finding out your primary power type? Most of the women in our community would, and we'd love to hear which of these you feel most resonant with. Share in the comments section here, and if you have any questions, please ask away. If you found this video interesting, please share it with a friend and hit that big like button, and we'll keep bringing you more of the same. See you soon.